Because we read on in the next verse. Listen to this dagger in the heart. But they were childless because Elizabeth could not conceive. Now, you have to understand in that day and age, first of all, they perceived in that culture, in that day and age, that a woman's primary role was to have children. Not saying it's right, not saying it's what we believe today, but I'm saying in that time and age, women did not have education. Women most of the time did not work. Women most of the time had their primary function in being a wife to their husband and having children. And so when it says that Elizabeth couldn't conceive, really, they didn't even put the blame on the man ever. Why? They didn't have medical testing. You couldn't tell who couldn't have kids, the man or the woman. And so there was an automatic default mechanism toward, oh, Elizabeth must not be able to conceive. And for that woman in that day and age, you have to understand that was a big deal to not be able to have a baby. Because if having a baby today is a big deal for a woman, which it is, not being able to have a child then was an immensely painful thing. Because it wasn't just personally, it was culturally a negative kind of thing. And this woman would live in disgrace and in pain and hardship, even culturally and in her relationships, because she could not have a child. So you're telling me that you guys are remaining faithful, Elizabeth and Zechariah, that you're remaining faithful, and what's this God done for you? He won't even give you a kid. What's this God done for you lately? Isn't He not listening? Isn't He not active? Isn't He not even worried about your life? I don't get it. Why do you remain faithful to this God? Why would you do that, Zechariah and Elizabeth? Why would you do that? And then we read on in the next verse, and they were both advanced in years. And so it's like, man, this God hasn't even given you a child. And you guys have been praying, and we know later on in the story that they have been praying a lot. And you guys have been praying in your 20s and in your 30s and in your 40s and in your 50s, and you can't have a kid. Why is this God not acting for you? Why is He not doing something about this? And the fact is, for us, some of us today are in that spot where we're wondering, is God active? Does He care? Does He really know where I am? And is He going to do anything for me?